Welcome to the tutorial for AlphaLab's data menu. This is where everything starts. Here you connect your broker, download the price history, and review the local catalog of datasets you have on disk. Without data, there's no discovery and no backtest. So we'll go through every box, every dropdown, and every button, making it crystal clear exactly what to type in each field. The data menu splits into three areas. At the top, the Broker Credentials panel, where you enter the API key and the rest of your broker's details. In the middle, the Stat Cards, and the Filter row with the Refresh Catalog and Download Data buttons. And at the bottom, the Catalog table, which lists every dataset you've already downloaded locally. Let's start at the top, with the Broker Connection, which is the first thing you must set up. The subtitle sums it up. This is the local dataset catalog, and it downloads data from the active broker, whether FX, futures, stocks, or crypto, with just its API key. The golden rule is right below it. The only thing always required is the API key. Everything else depends on the broker you pick. If you don't know where to start, the official recommendation is OANDA, because its API is free and it provides FX and index data, which is exactly what this engine needs. Top right is the Active Broker dropdown. This is where you choose which broker you work with. In the screenshot, OANDA Practice, FX and Indices is selected. When you switch broker, the credentials form below reconfigures itself. For example, the API secret field enables or disables, and options appear or disappear depending on what each broker needs. At the end of the list, you'll see the Add Broker option, which asks you for a lowercase identifier, for example IBKR, Kraken, or FXCM, plus a display name, to register a broker that doesn't ship by default. This yellow banner is an important coherence warning. It reminds you that you'll trade in the live monitor with the active broker, so you must download the data and run discovery, that is, the features and strategies, on that same broker's data. The reason is that every broker has slightly different prices and spreads. If you backtest on one broker's data and then trade with another, the results won't match. So the rule is simple. The broker you download from, research with, and trade live with must always be the same one. The Enable This Broker checkbox controls whether AlphaLab uses the credentials you type here. When it's ticked, pressing Save and Apply writes the form values into the system environment variables, and the app uses them immediately. When it's unticked, AlphaLab doesn't touch the environment and keeps whatever variables you defined externally. Remember, to download using the API key you just pasted, this box has to be ticked. If you leave it unticked, on saving you'll see a notice that the broker wasn't activated. This is the single most important field in the whole menu, the API key. The placeholder itself says it. Required. Paste your API key or token. It's the only credential that's always needed, no matter what. You get it by logging into your broker's website, going to your account area, and finding the API access or token section. For OANDA, it's your personal access token. Copy it and paste it here as is. The field is masked, like a password, so nobody can read it over your shoulder. Without this key, you cannot download anything at all. The API secret field is the second key some brokers hand out alongside the key. Here AlphaLab is honest and tells you, broker by broker, whether it's needed or not. With OANDA, it doesn't apply, so the field appears disabled, and you'll see the text not applicable to OANDA. With Binance, it's optional. It's only needed for trading. For downloading public data, it isn't required. With Alpaca, on the other hand, it's required. And with any other broker, the field tells you it's optional depending on the broker. If your broker gave you a secret and you'll trade live, paste it here. The Account ID field is your account identifier, and it's optional. To download data, you don't need it at all. Candles are requested with the token alone. Only the Live Demons pricing stream requires it, once you're already trading in paper or real mode. If you use OANDA and you're going to trade live, you find it by going to oanda.com/account and then manage funds. The format is 101-001-8 digits-001. This field, by the way, is only visible when the active broker is OANDA. Other brokers ignore it and don't even show it. The environment dropdown defines which of the broker's servers you connect to, and its options change per broker. With OANDA, you choose between Practice, the demo account, and Live, the real account. In the screenshot, it's set to Practice, which is recommended to start with and test risk-free. With Binance, you choose between spot and futures, and with Alpaca between paper and live. On top of that, the field is editable. If your broker uses a different environment name, you can type it by hand, and it will be honored. The last field in the form is the base URL, and it's optional. Leave it empty unless your broker tells you to use a custom endpoint that should override the default. Bottom right, there are two buttons. Test connection checks that your API key is valid without downloading anything yet. If the key field is empty, it warns you to fill it first. And save and apply persist your credentials to disk, and, if the enable checkbox is ticked, writes them into the environment variables. When it succeeds, it confirms exactly which variables it updated. This is the last step before downloading. These 5 cards summarize your catalog state at a glance. Datasets counts how many symbol and time frame combinations you have registered. In the screenshot, 195. Total bars sums every price bar across all datasets. Here, over 6 million. Parquet size is the disk space they occupy, 127 megabytes. Oldest data shows the earliest start date you have data for. And feature pool tells you how many features you have approved in the lab. The first number is the global ones, valid across the whole universe, and the second is the scoped ones, local specialists. This row controls the table and the download. On the left, the source dropdown filters the catalog by origin, for example, only OANDA or only Binance, and the filter by symbol box narrows the table to whatever you type. On the right, there are two buttons. Refresh Catalog rewalks the disk to spot new datasets and recompute the counters. And Download Data is the key button. It downloads the active broker's data, all its symbols in M1, falling back to M5 if there's no M1, resamples them to M5, M15, M30, H1, H4, and native D1, and rebuilds the spreads. It has no options. It pulls whatever the broker has available. A very important special case. If your broker uses MetaTrader 5, like DarwinX, Pepperstone, IC Markets, or FTMO, you do not need any API key. Just keep your MetaTrader 5 terminal open and logged in at your broker. Leave the API key box empty. Choose MetaTrader 5 as the active broker and click Download Data. AlphaLab connects directly to your terminal and downloads the symbols in your market watch as 1-minute candles that it then resamples to all time frames. It's the easiest, key-free way to get your own data with your broker's exact prices and spreads. An important note about symbols and time frames. With OANDA, you don't have to pick symbols or time frames by hand. The download pulls its full universe and generates all time frames automatically, from M5 up to D1. But some brokers, especially crypto ones, do need you to tell them which symbol you want. In that case, AlphaLab will ask you, type the symbol or several comma separated in the symbol box, for example BTC/USDT. If you launch a download for a broker that requires a symbol and leave it blank, the app warns you with a clear message asking you to type one. Finally, the catalog table lists every dataset you already have on disk, one per row. Let's go column by column. Symbol is the instrument, for example ZOSD, gold. TF is the time frame of that row. D1, H1, H4, M15, M30, or M5. Source is the origin broker of the data, here OANDA. Bars is how many price bars that dataset holds. Notice the finer time frames, like M5, have far more bars than the higher ones like D1. Start and end are the dates of the first and last available bars. Size, in megabytes, is what the Parquet file takes on disk. SHA-256 is an integrity hash, truncated, that guarantees the data hasn't been corrupted or tampered with. And dataset ID is the unique identifier, combining symbol, time frame, and source, for example ZOS-D1-OANDA. Below the table, a status line confirms how many datasets are in the catalog. And with that, you've seen the entire data menu. And that's the whole data menu. In short, pick your broker in the dropdown, paste the API key, which is the only thing always required. Fill in the secret or the account ID only if your broker asks for them. Tick Enable this broker and press Save and Apply. Then press Download Data to pull the history and refresh Catalog to see it appear in the table. Remember the golden rule: download, research, and trade always with the same broker. In the next video, we'll cover the Discovery menu, which uses exactly this data.